Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Jaco here. So today we're gonna do a little bit of a different video because it's international break. We don't have a lot of things to talk about for the next 2 weeks in terms of actual football. So I thought that this was quite a good moment to have an honest reflection about our individual performances so far this season, and trying to think about who've been performing well and who's been quite disappointing so far. So I took this tier list that was already made on the site, Tier Maker, and we're gonna rank from A best performer, to F, worst performer. I'm gonna put on F also a lot of players that have not been involved so much because of injuries. And yes, we can start like that. I feel like I've explained the rules. So we start with Guglielmo Vicario, our keeper. So it's going to be a very interesting one, Vicario already, because there was some highs and some downs. A lot of people were a lot critic about Vicario in certain games, and I understand that. A few games he was a little bit shaky, but I feel like especially the last month he was by far the best player on the pitch for the last month. Against Monaco, he had a 10 out of 10 performance. He had other incredible performance. Even in the game that we lost against Chelsea, was incredible. Even in the he's been consistently good. The last game against Manchester United, maybe you can give a little bit of a fault for the goal of De Ligt, even if it's very tough. But so far, I feel like it's been a very good season for Vicario. Some mistakes, but some very, very good performances. And especially that Monaco game alone is worth to be at least in B. Now, in the end, I'm gonna rethink about everything. So far, I'm putting Vicario in B. He can become an A, especially for the last performances, but I feel like he was a little bit shaky, especially in the beginning, so far, I'm putting him at B. The next one is Radu Dragusin, a player that, in my opinion, can play well under Thomas Frank. Not the best centre back in the world in terms of technical abilities for sure, but he's very dominant in the air, and he's a good box defender. So I feel like he can play quite well with Thomas Frank, but unfortunately we didn't see him yet. So F for him. Next one is Kevin Danso. So now I want to talk about Kevin Danso. He's been positive, of course, because he came instead of Cuti Romero, and it's a very tough job for any centre back to take the role of Cuti Romero, of course, at Tottenham. I have some doubt, of course, on Danso on the long term, especially because I feel like he's a great character, great defender, great box defender, but with his feet, with the ball on his feet, he ain't good enough. And sometimes I feel like he limited us a lot on possession. So I don't feel like putting him in the same category of Vicario, surely not above, but he's been quite functional in certain games. I feel like maybe it's too harsh to put him in D, so I'm putting him in C. But I'm a fan of his persona, the way that he thrives on the pitch, the way that he takes every opportunity like the last one, the way that he gives 100% every time, but I still believe that he's a very, very limited footballer. And for a club like us, especially the way that it's so important to have someone that builds from the back, I feel like he limits us a little bit too much. So I'm putting him at C for right now. Then we're gonna see where I can put him. The next one is Joao Palhinha. Signing of the season, arguably. I don't know, maybe. Yes, signing of the season for us for sure. A player that changed completely the dynamic of our midfield. Some people are not a fan because he's not the best technical player in the world, but the way that he got us in a much better shape defensively from last season by himself is incredible. So I feel like his impact has been incredible, absolutely incredible. Everything that you want to ask to a player like Palhinha is giving it to us. So far, for sure, A. So far, the best performance that I've seen this season has been Palhinha, at least the one that we are rating so far. The next one is also another very interesting one. Xavi Simons. So Xavi came to Tottenham with huge expectations, 60 million, an aura, we can say, of a superstar. Everyone had a huge expectation. He could have changed. He can change us. He can completely change the team. He's not doing it yet. Okay, he's not doing it yet. He's not changing completely the team yet. His impact on the games has been improving maybe in the last games, but he's not good enough so far, in my opinion. And I'm being quite harsh on Xavi Simons because I feel like he can do much more. He's warming up for sure. He's receiving the ball in better space, but I still want to give him responsibility in terms of he doesn't take enough shots. He doesn't take enough key passes. He doesn't try to really kill the game. And I'm expecting more about a number 10 of his caliber. So far, I'm putting him at C also himself. I don't feel like he's been incredible. He had maybe one assist so far, zero goals, very few shots on goal. For me, he needs to improve quite a bit. I'm sure that he can. Bissouma, F is out of the project. He's injured. I feel like we will move on from him. So nothing, not a lot to say about Bissouma. Richarlison is a weird one also because he started the season very well, incredibly well. Two goals against Barley, incredible. After that, he was completely off. There was at least 6, 7, 8 games that that he wasn't able even to touch the ball. Then in the last game, he scored a very important goal against Manchester United. He had an assist again for Pape Matar Sarr against Everton. So he had some impact, and I don't want to be too harsh, but in my opinion, he's in B. And I like Richarlison, but there was a period of time, at least 1 month and a half, that he was absolutely unplayable in a negative way. Like you couldn't play with him on the pitch. Now he's warming up a little bit more. I see his performance improving a little bit in terms of goals and assists. So maybe in the future he can come up to C. But so far, I feel like Richarlison is a D performer so far. James Madison F is going to be very important when he comes back. I feel like having a player like Madison on the pitch improves a lot our progression, our plays, our connection through the pitch. So he's a very important player, and I can't wait to see him back. But so far we didn't see him a lot, so I'm putting him at F. Matisse Tel, very interesting one, Matisse Tel again. Very, very, very interesting one because the last goal against Manchester United was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. A goal of a real, real striker. We didn't see him too much this season, so I don't feel like I can put him too high because he's a small sample of the games that he played. But when I see him, for example, against Leeds, he had a great goal shooting from outside of the box. Against Manchester United, he had a great goal with a great turn. Like the way that he strikes the ball for me gives me so much confidence about this player in the future. Like, yes, he lacks a lot of stuff. He's not mobile enough, in my opinion. He's not great at linking up. He's not very physical to dominate centre backs, but he have that ball striking ability that will change a lot of the dynamic up front. So I believe that he showed this season much more than last season. So far, I'm putting him at C because I'm not putting him at B because I don't feel like he played enough and we don't have enough big sample to judge him like that. But the few games that he played, he showed for once and finally his incredible ball striking ability. So I'm happy for that. I'm happy for the last goal against Manchester United. So wonderful for Matisse Tel. I'm putting him at C. Destiny Udogie, again, similar to Tell in terms that we don't have a lot of games of Destiny Udogie this season, but he's different because we already know Destiny Udogie quite well. Like we know how good he is, we know how much he can change us, and we know how much he played well this season alone when he played. So I feel like the only problem that I'm not putting him at A because he deserved to be at A because every time that he played against Leeds, he was wonderful. Against even Manchester United, he got the assist when he come. Like in general, when you see Destiny Udogie on the left, you know that we're going to be much better than when he's not there. But the problem is that the small sample is being a lot injured and is not impact the game enough in terms of consistency. So I'm putting him at B, the first one at B, but with a little bit more consistency and with a little bit of less injury is for sure an A performer. Archie Gray. Even himself got injured. I liked a lot I feel like it's similar to Matisse Tel, the discourse around Archie Gray, because I liked a lot when he played. I feel like especially in midfield, he was looking really tidy. He was looking with the right ideas, with the right ball control, very composed. I liked him. I didn't like him so much against Monaco on the left back. I don't feel like it's his role, and I don't feel like he will be very confident in that. But when he plays in midfield, I was seeing a lot more of Archie Gray. So because he's young and because I want him to do well and putting him at C, even if we don't have enough sample. But the few times that he played, I feel like he played quite well. Lucas Berbal, a mix of a feeling, in my opinion. Like he had games where he was quite good. I feel like so far he's good when he's a box crushing player, when he runs into the box, when he makes a lot of runs without the ball. Not so much on the ball, unfortunately. Like on the ball, even against Monaco, when he dropped deep to receive the ball, it was an absolute mess. It's showing maybe a little bit more. Weaknesses that I was expecting initially. I must be 100%, especially in terms of holding the ball, in terms of decision making, in terms of not losing the ball in certain part of the pitch. But he's brilliant, of course, physically so dominant, technically he's good, but his decision making in general is leaving me a little bit frustrated. And I'm gonna be very honest with you. I'm not putting him at D because I feel like Richarlison was one of the worst performer for a long part of the season, and I'm putting him at C. But not incredibly impressed with him. Not incredibly impressed with Lucas Berba this season. I feel like he can get a gear up for sure. He can be much better on the ball, much more secure on the ball, and he can score more and assist more. So my expectation for Lucas Berba, you all know it, were sky high. So maybe for that reason I'm a little bit disappointed, but I'm expecting him to do a little bit more. Cuti Romero goes at least in B. Again, a little bit of injuries. That is the main problem. He was not available for maybe 3 or 4 games. The game that he played, no, I feel like Cuti Romero is an A. Now that I think about it, he's been more available than Destiny Udogie. Our defensive shape with him and Van de Ven has been very good. So I feel like the two centre backs has been a very important role in this team, and I feel like Romero, when he played well. The problem is that again the injuries. He's coming back from an injury, so he's not at 100%. So he won't perform at his best. So maybe we didn't see, of course, this season the best of Cuti Romero. But I feel like even if he doesn't show the best, he's always one of the best performer of our team. Dominic Solanke, we didn't see it yet with Thomas Frank. Very interesting to see how Dominic Solanke will improve us when he will be back. I'm not the biggest fan of Dominic Solanke, especially for the lack of killer instinct, in my opinion. But he has a lot of qualities that we can use, especially in terms of hold-up play, in terms of connecting with other players around him, in terms of physical presence up front. He's a much more technical player than Richarlison, so I feel like he can give us a different dimension and a little bit of different possibilities during the game. So I'm looking forward to see Solanke coming back. I feel like he can improve a lot our state. We have Kudus here above Cuti Romero, a little bit under Paligna because Paligna has been a little bit more consistent, but the highs of Kudus were the highest that we touch in terms of individual player this season. Kudus is I don't know what to say about Kudus. For me, is one of the best signing that we ever made. I know that people are quite critical about his decision making, don't care. The way that he's so strong, so dominant in the duels, the way that he's basically a cheat code for progressing the ball because you just need one long pass and he will protect the ball, win the ball, recycle the ball. All this kind of stuff are not in the stats. And on top of this, he's able to get a lot of assists, he's able to score even more, but he's already doing quite well. So the things that we saw from Kudus is something that we asked the Tottenham board to do for a long time, having a one-against-one specialist on the wide areas, and he's changing us completely. Then he's been played all games every time, so in the end he was a little bit injured, he dropped the level, but this guy is a world-class winger, and he proved it, so deserved to be in a spot. Dejan Kulusevski, F. We didn't see him much. The player that I'm looking forward the most to see coming back, Dejan Kulusevski. No doubt, zero doubt. A player that is physical, is creative, he can run, he can drive the ball, he can be also a defensive presence. He is a very intense presser. He's perfect for Thomas Frank. He's also a Scandinavian player like Thomas Frank is Scandinavian, of course, so maybe a little bit of connection there. But I believe that Kulusevski this season will turn up to be the best version of himself if he have a little bit of continuity. He's the captain of Sweden. He's improved a lot. He's matured a lot as a player, and in my opinion, he's still with Kudus one of the best and most talented player that we have on the pitch. So huge miss. I feel like the biggest miss that we have this season so far is not having Dejan Kulusevski available. Brennan Johnson. I don't know what to tell about Brennan Johnson. I'm not a fan of him. I'm absolutely not a fan of him. I don't feel like he's even scoring enough. I don't feel like he's showing enough. I don't feel like he's showing enough in the one against one. Maybe against Everton, he had one or two good situations, but it's not enough for a player of 50 million that we paid 50 million. He's not able to get past his man. He's not someone very intense with the off-ball movement. Only in the box, you have a very good instinct. Other than that, he's just not available for the pass a lot of time. He's just too easy to dispossess a lot of time. Decision making not always the best. When you are in transition, he's able to mess up at 3 against 2, a 3 against 1. So I'm really not a fan of Brennan Johnson. I'm putting him at D. I'm not liking the player in general. I'm not liking the experience of watching Brennan Johnson play. Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro, interesting one. Highs, lows for sure. He's been played too much, in my opinion. He's played every minute with Spain, Tottenham, everyone. So of course the level will drop, especially in the last games. I still believe that he's a B performer, but the last game, especially against against Manchester United, especially was absolutely dreadful. And there may be one or two situations against Semenyo early in the season that he was struggling a lot. So maybe overall, I'm putting him at C, of course, above Danso and even Xavi Simons goes above Danso for sure, and even Matistel goes above Danso for sure. But Pedro Porro, I feel like he's borderline B. The few bad performances put him in C, but I have all the confidence that if we do this again in the end of the season, it would be B or A for sure. One of the best players that we have. Jet Spence, I'm putting him at D. I'm telling you why. It's not a lot about Jet, okay? It's not all his fault because he's a right-footed player playing on the left, but he's so bad there. Like, I can't watch him anymore. I can't watch him anymore. The problem that I have with him is that every time that he have the ball, he turn back pass to the center back, and then we recycle the ball on the other side, where Porro give a long pass to Kudus. Every time is the same thing. He's not able to play with the left at all, with the left foot at all. He's never trying one pass with the left. He's never trying to progress the ball forward. He tries sometimes to drive the ball, but he's very ineffective because he's not having a lot of success going forward and trying to cross and having an assist. I'm sure that he has 0 assists and 0 goals all season, of course. He's just not giving us anything up front. Anything. And his defensive side is good, but he doesn't overweight his limits offensively. So maybe on the right, he will thrive a little bit more, but I don't want to see us playing Spence consistently on the left again. We need to buy a left back, and we need to use Spence as a backup right back to Pedro Porro. Takai, didn't see anything about him yet. Oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. Wilson Odobert. Now, Wilson Odobert. I'm, I'm a little bit undecided because it's either A or B. It's more B, but the things that I saw about is more B because of the lack of goals and assists that he got. It's not all his fault because sometimes Richarlison, for example, against Monaco, had a huge miss out of a very good run from Odobert. But in general, in terms of goals, not enough. Not enough. He can do much more. His ball striking ability is nice. Is the way that he dribbles even in central position is nice. So we have all the tools to score a little bit more. But the things that we are seeing from Odobert, for me, is the rise of an incredibly talented winger. Incredibly talented winger. He's strong physically because he doesn't look like it, but he's strong physically. He's explosive. He can dribble very well. His ball striking ability is nice. His crossing ability is nice. He can play also centrally. He can come inside of the pitch. He can go and be the touchline winger. He can do everything. Like, this guy is a huge talent. In my opinion, at this point, maybe the biggest talent that we have under 21. I know Berbal is another one, but as I said before, I'm a little bit disappointed with certain stuff of Berbal. Odobert is showing literally that he can become a top Premier League winger. And against Manchester United, he changed completely the game. So I feel like overall he's showing the best of him so far in his Tottenham career, and he deserves to be the best performer of the B category, we can say. Another player that disappointed me, really disappointed me, Pape Matar. I don't know what to say anymore. I thought that this guy was going to be one of the best. He's not. He's not for a few reasons. Like I feel like technically he's too messy, absolutely too messy. Every time that he have the ball, he struggled to really release the ball, make the right decision. He's so much reliant on the ball carrying side of the game. He's always carrying the ball, and his decision making in general is not very good. When you need to build from the back, is not someone that you can rely on because as I said, the decision making, the ability of the pass is not there yet. And I'm not talking about the ability of the pass in terms of technical ability, pure technical ability, because you have a great ball striking ability, great ball striking ability. The problem is that he is not using it because his decision making and his understanding of the game sometimes is a little bit too chaotic. You know, I feel like sometimes he is a little bit too involved in the game in certain way. Like he's not calm enough to understand and take decisions that are the best for everyone. So I struggled sometimes to see him becoming a top midfielder. He had the goal against Everton. He's very good, like Berbal. They are two similar players, like Berbal, two very similar players. Very good at box crashing, making runs off the ball, pressing without the ball. Very good with the ball. Mm. There are limits, but I don't feel like he's been that bad. But I'm feeling that put him in like Berbal, more or less in the C category. In the D category, I've been quite harsh on the three guys, but I'm not a fan of either of them. Bentancur, for me, the most underrated player this season. Everyone was crying about it because we didn't progress essentially because Bentancur is shit. Don't agree with it. It was more of a tactical setup of Frank, like it or not. But since we played with the 3-2-2, so with this new setup, he's been the best technical player that we have in midfield, and he is the best technical player that we have in midfield. Without him, we lose a lot of technical abilities. Like even if you don't like Bentancur, you need to understand that this guy is a very good technical player. The problem that with Bentancur again is his decision making at times is not the best, but. Listen, I'm putting him at C, one of the first of the C category, and I could have put him also at B, but he had quite of a bad games in the beginning of the season. But I feel like he's our best technical midfielder. Kinski, D. I'm not putting an E, but it could have been an E because he played one game and it was a disaster, absolute disaster. So maybe yes, I'm putting him at E. I feel like it was an absolute disaster against Newcastle, and the performance of this season was that. That performance was the only game that he played this season. Maybe I'm forgetting another game, but in that game he showed to me too many deficiencies, too many problems, too many weaknesses. He's not tall enough, he's not strong enough, he doesn't claim crosses enough, his shot stopping is inconsistent, he's not explosive enough. The only thing that is really good is playing with his feet. Is not enough. For me, is not enough. For me, he showed this season that he's not good enough. Then he's a very young player, so he can improve. Maybe we're gonna do this again in the end of the season, and he will be much higher. But so far, I've been so disappointed about Kinski. Ben Davies, didn't see much of him, and I don't really want to see too much of him. We already know what kind of player Davies is. Van de Ven, A performer. He had bad game against Chelsea, understand that, but come on, the goal against Copenhagen, the general plays that he have even against Manchester United, the tackle against Seshko, like it's very unfair to judge Van de Ven out of a game against Chelsea that was absolutely disastrous for everyone, absolutely everyone. So I feel like Van de Ven has been one of the best performers for sure of the season. He's showing the partnership with Romero that is one of the best in the league. His pace is incredible, and he's just a cheat code in general. I won't be surprised if in 2 years he will play in Real Madrid. So this season is showing like that, and he deserves to be an A performer. Colomoni, interesting. Very interesting Colomoni because I like the play. And unfortunately, he got fractured the jaw, so he will be out for a long time. I feel like C, a little bit better of Xavi Simons, in my opinion, in terms of... I don't know if better than Xavi Simons, maybe that's too harsh. But No, maybe Xavi Simons had a little bit more moments, but I really like the way that Colomani is able to link up with other players, the technical level of Colomani every time that he touches the ball, every time that he's near other players, he can have very good associative plays. So that's something that we don't have in other striker. Maybe Solanke is the other one, but he's much more agile, much more comfortable on the ball. So I feel like he's the best striker that we have. Unfortunately, we saw him very little because once he got into form, he got injured for a fractured jaw against Manchester United. So now he will be out for another 2 or 3 months. So an absolute disaster. But I feel like he was driving towards the B section if he had, for me, 10 games in a row. This is a top player, but unfortunately, again, our luck is like that. So, of course, Austin here. Who is this? Is Scarlett? Yes, I feel like he's Scarlett. So let's put all these guys in the F. Mikey Moore, by the way, is improving a lot since the new manager came into Rangers. So make sure to have a look of his loan. Tyrese Hall, another one that is doing great on loan. Even Lancashire is scoring on loan. So Mason Melia is a very good striker, but I didn't see much of him, but they talk very well about him. So all these guys, all these academy guys goes there, all the loans goes there. Okay. So Luka Vuskovic, I'm gonna make a video in the future about Luka Vuskovic. This guy is incredible. I'm putting him first in the F category of the loans or the players that are not available. I feel like Luka Vuskovic will be a Premier League centre back. Will be a very high level Premier League centre back. The ball striking ability, the passing ability, the dominance of an 18 years old aerially is just something that I've never seen before. So the last one, Dane Scarlett, did very well, Dane, when he came on the pitch. So I'm putting him in the same category, in the C category, because I feel like he did very well, very small sample. But when he came on against Copenhagen, he showed really good signs. I feel like Dane Scarlett always been one of the best talents at Tottenham. So I really believe that he can improve and maybe he can be a factor in this season. So thank you so much, guys, for being here, and see you the next time. Have a good day.